So there is this short story I was told when I was in my primary school. It's about two jolly friends. They were supposed to cut 100 trees in a particular forest. So the owner of the forest handed them cutlasses, at least one each. So let's call them Mr. Red and Mr. Green. So Mr. Red got the cutlass and eventually headed straight for the farm, for the forest. He started cutting the trees. But on the other hand, Mr. Green didn't go to the forest straight. He went to where he was going to sharpen the cutlass. And he did that for some couple of minutes and joined Mr. Red on the same forest. So at the end of the day, Mr. Red cut like 20 trees, while Mr. Green cut like 80 trees. That is talking about the fact that Mr. Green knew what to do exactly to get the job done faster and easier. It's talking about the application of knowledge. It's talking about knowing how the tool you have works. Otherwise, you won't get the best of it. With that little teaser, I welcome you to Techbridge today on Lagos Television. This is the show that connects you to the future. We talk about the future, we talk about technology, and we talk about all the offerings that technology can give you. I am Sheyifumi Olatide. Talking about that story, it's talking about the fact that it is not enough to have the knowledge about various tools, various offerings of technology. It is also more important, very imperative, to know how each tool works so that at the end of the day, you have a better story to tell. Welcome to Techbridge once again. Let me take this breather and I'll join you after then. Please don't go away. So thanks for staying with us. It is still Techbridge on Lagos Television, and I told you we're talking about how to ensure that you have the right knowledge about how tech tools can work for you. So we'll be talking about the new media, the social media, and the social media strategy today. We'll be talking about the realities that we have. In the face of what has been happening recently, the narrative is changing. And if you ask me, the virtual world is actually the reality now. So it depends on how you deploy each of these to get the right tools that you have and eventually get the results that you actually want. I'm going to be connecting with a computer scientist, a new media consultant, and of course a public speaker. He's vast in that. I'm talking about John Obidi. He's going to be joining us via Skype today. John, thanks for joining us on today's episode of Techbridge.
Thanks for having me, Sheyifumi.
Okay, so let me just pick you from this place. The job you do leverages so much on technology, and you organize a lot of webinars and online meetings and the rest of it. I want to ask you, is that what you set out to do from onset?
Okay, so originally I studied computer science in the university. So I started out my career as a computer programmer and website designer. And then I used to teach computer programming for a while. And sometime in 2013 is when I stumbled into the field of new media consulting or new media. I never knew that there was anything called online media or new media or online business. At the time, I had about 40 followers on Twitter. Wow. And that was fantastic. So, but 2013, I started learning about social media strategy as it could apply for business, and that's where it all began.
Okay, that's amazing. So let's talk about this. You talked about a social media strategist. So what does it take to become one with the present realities that we have and probably what we should project for the future?
Okay, so first of all, let me talk about the meaning of the word media. So the dictionary meaning of the word media is the plural form of the word medium. and medium means a means through which something passes. Okay, so the plural of that is media. So that's why we had mass media. It was a medium through which one could communicate information to the masses, hence mass media, right? And so we had the newspapers, we had television, and so on. But now we had new media, which is a new means of communicating a lot of information still to the masses using technologies that are largely based on the internet. And so being a good new media consultant, you have to understand what technologies you're going to be using to communicate information to the masses. And so some of these technologies are social media, different kinds of content, how to use YouTube, podcasting, webinars, live broadcasts, run Facebook ads, email marketing, and so on. All these technologies that support moving information in mass using the internet.
All right. Thanks for that. So let's come to what we're experiencing lately globally, talking about COVID-19. And I want to ask you, how does this moment, this season, affect what you do as a new media consultant? Is it on the positive side or otherwise? Just shed more light on that.
Well, very much so. It is on the positive side because now a lot of people have had to adapt and communicate online. They communicate their offerings online. Most people now that would have had to do seminars or conferences or big physical events have now had to do them online. We've heard about a couple of weddings that have been convened using Zoom and similar platforms. And so yes, everyone now wants to be on new media and see how that can work. We have the churches who have been unable to meet so far, but are now having to largely stream their services online. They've been streaming online before, but now this has been the only option for a while. And so yes, for new media consultants, it's been a big season, a very busy season, as we try to advise everyone coming on board now on the best tactics, the best strategies, and the best tools that will help them communicate their offerings online and stay productive and in business.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You've been involved in a lot of online trainings, webinars, and the rest of it lately. And I want to ask you, of course, you've also organized some that are physical in the four walls of a particular place. So I want to ask you, how effective is it compared to the one that have people seated in a particular place that you have to talk to them in person?
Oh, it's fantastic. This is the greatest time to be alive in history. I mean, we had a virtual summit, which has been the largest virtual summit in Africa. We had 17 speakers talking about how people can reinvent themselves for the new economy. 17 speakers, and we had over between 30 to 40,000 people registered for that summit. Now, each speaker that was speaking live was being watched by at least 3,000 people live. Right? Most of the speakers had 3,000 people live watching them at the same time. It wasn't pre-recorded. All the sessions were streamed live to our audience. Now, when I look at those numbers, 3,000 people, and you think about the kind of hall that can sit 3,000 people, maybe in Lagos or anywhere else in Nigeria, it's mind-blowing. And these people did not have to travel. They did not have to leave the comfort of their homes or their offices. Everyone just stayed where they were with the mobile device, and they will connect and get hold of all the sessions. And our speakers too. We didn't have to fly anybody in and go through all the logistics. Of our speakers were in the United States, some were in Canada, some were in other parts of the world, but everyone was able to congregate on this new medium, which is the internet, and we had a great time. So yes, it's a fantastic time to be alive, and I would advise that a lot of people do adapt quickly. Some people are still stuck on the old way of doing things and wondering how people are going to adapt. I'm more of an in-person kind of presenter or person. Well, things are changing and we have to move with the times.
Okay, well, I think that's encouraging. So let's talk about this. Coming back to social media strategy, new media, and the rest of it. We can't take out graphics as a major element, a major component of effective delivery of messages on these platforms. So would you want to recommend any graphic software, anyone that people can use to jumpstart or probably do it professionally? We just want to learn from you.
Oh, well, so I'm not a graphic designer. I've got people that do that for me now, but still there are a lot of tools that people who are not really graphic designers can use to spread their message and still get some work done. Number one is Canva. So everyone knows about Canva, I guess, but Canva is a free tool that you can use to create graphics for virtually anything. And if all you do for the next couple of weeks is master your use of Canva, I mean, we have Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and all those things, but the learning curve is pretty steep. They may be too difficult for the average business owner to learn, but if you can learn Canva, that can be your salvation, basically. So learn how to use Canva. Then there's some other tools too, like there's an app called Facetune. Maybe you want to post selfies or photos online, and you can't use Photoshop to apply filters and make those things pop online. Facetune can help you do that. There are other apps too, like there's another app called Snapseed. Snapseed works on both Android and iOS, so you can use that to apply filters to your professional photos, and they look great. We also have WordSwag. WordSwag helps to add some nice captions or your quotes and all that, and put them online. So these are a few apps, and there's so much more. You could just go to your app store and go through the apps, but these ones can get you going.
Well, thanks for giving us that. Free, just for free. So I'm going to take you up on this quote that I found on your Instagram page. I'll just read it up quickly. It says that it is better to create something that others criticize than to create nothing and criticize others. What is the place of technology in this post? I know you're talking about creativity. So what is the place of technology in all of this? Please explain that.
Yes. So technology is the backbone of everything that we create. I mean, of course, you need a sound mind, you need a creative mind, you need the motivation to keep on creating. But the whole thing lies on creativity. These are the tools. Just the way that an artist uses a paintbrush and a canvas, and the way a musician uses a musical beat and maybe musical instruments. The tools of our trade are technological instruments like laptops and phones and so on and so forth. So the whole thing lies on technology. And then you think about what it is you want to create. That's going to determine the kind of tool you're going to be using. So if I bring this down here, you see that even here, there's a microphone here because I'm a podcaster, I create podcasts. So this is my paintbrush here.
That's great.
Right? So that's my, I create podcasts, I use that, I'm talking to you right now, but using Skype, but as you can see, it's some sort of a professional setup. I've got my lighting, there's my HD camera, there's my background. These are the tools of my trade, and anyone who wants to be creative, qualitatively creative in 2020 and beyond, you've got to invest in technology and the tools of your trade. So here's the thing, I kept saying at my summit that COVID-19 did not happen to us, it happened for us. It did not happen to us, it happened for us. Now, human beings are a creature of habit. Human beings are creatures of habit. Now, during the COVID-19 period, everyone has been forced to learn new competencies. There are people who would have said before COVID, pre-COVID, that I'm not a tech person, but they had to learn how to join a Zoom call. Everybody is a fan of Zoom at this period, right? They've learned how to join a Zoom call. Some have had to learn how to facilitate a Zoom call. Some have had to learn how to interview people online and get interviewed online. People who have never attended maybe a church service online have had to get into it because that has been the only way to do it. Now, in this process, habits have been formed by necessity. Like I said, we're creatures of necessity. By necessity, new habits have been formed. When the lockdowns are over, people are not going to be eager to put away this new capacity that they have put on during COVID-19. They are going to look for ways to use them. I mean, are you going to tell me that I spent these months in lockdown learning this new capacity that is not going to be useful post-COVID? They are going to insist on finding ways to do those things they've been doing pre-COVID. So more people are going to still remain on streaming services, they'll be attending webinars, listening to podcasts, because they put on these habits that have even made them to see the benefits of consuming digital content. Because we have podcasts, we have videos, and you realize that you get to learn from all kinds of people all over the world, and you don't have to be in a physical presence. Post-COVID, this is going to remain. And here's another thing. Okay. For those who are content creators and creatives, if you've been putting out your content during this COVID period, everyone's at home, everyone's listening to you. Post-COVID, these people are going to be members of your audience. They're going to be your YouTube subscribers, your podcast listeners, your blog subscribers, your Instagram followers, and so on. they are going to be your audience post-COVID, and they will be following up with your content. So yes, this is the state of affairs now, and I see this even increasing post-COVID.
Okay, thanks for that. That is inspiring, really, if you ask me. So this very last one I'm going to ask you. We always ask our audience, our guests rather, we always ask our guests about what their take is about the internet connection, the price, the subscription rates, and the speed, the quality that we have in Nigeria. What would be your take on this?
So I think that more people are subscribing for internet data plans. During my summit, my virtual summit was all video, which was data intensive, and it held for 6 hours every day for 3 days. And the people who subscribe for internet connections that would last all that time, and which says a lot about how resilient our people are, even with the limitations of our environment. So I see people seeing internet as a priority in the same way that you need food to eat, you need water to drink, you need electricity, you need air, you need the internet. It's not a luxury, it's now a necessity. So more people are seeing it as a necessity, a necessary component for surviving in these times and beyond. And so more people are going to keep on subscribing. But that said, I think that our operators should look at the pricing. But here's another thing that many people don't realize. Okay. Nigeria is one of the countries in the world that has the cheapest costs of data subscriptions. Most people don't know that. But I said mobile data subscriptions, not internet service subscriptions. They seem similar, but they're not exactly the same, right? So when I say mobile data, the thing is that in Nigeria, we don't have a lot of fiber optic providers. So most of the time, we're using telcos. And in many countries around the world, I've been to Brazil and some other countries, mobile data subscriptions are expensive. The one that is cheap is the one that is fiber optic, the one that goes through the ground. So the reason that it seems that it's expensive now is that we don't have the infrastructure that carries fiber optic, at least it's not widespread. That fiber optic or cables that run through the ground, those ones are cheaper. So rather than focus on telcos reducing the prices of their mobile subscriptions, the long-term solution is for our ecosystem to invest in that fiber optic technology, ensuring that it gets to more homes, because that is one that's actually cheaper.
Thanks for that comment. Thanks for that. We really appreciate that. And we just hope that it gets better someday. So John, thanks for joining us on today's episode of Techbridge. We appreciate your wealth of experience. We appreciate your opinions and your comments on this show. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
So that was John Obidi, a new media consultant, a social media strategist, and of course a computer scientist, sharing his thoughts about new media strategy and what it entails and some other issues around it. We appreciate that so much. So it's beyond what we talk about in the confines of this studio, if you ask me, or probably on this show. The conversation goes beyond the fact that we just need to just be on Facebook, be on Instagram, be on Twitter, or even do more. It is beyond that. We need to begin to appreciate what this season is offering us. Like he said, COVID-19 happened for us. It didn't happen to us. So we must begin to appreciate that and take advantage of this. We realize that a lot of people are already acquiring new knowledge. They are embracing new technology. New platforms are becoming more popular. Those platforms were there before now, but they are becoming more popular now, and it can only get better. That is what technology offers. And still talking about the little teaser I gave at the beginning of this show, that it's not enough to have the tools. You should know how each tool works so that you can have the best of the best out of the tools that you have. That's our show today. Many thanks for connecting with us. Remember that you can connect with Techbridge on Facebook. We are Techbridge LTV. And of course on YouTube, we are Techbridge LTV as well. Do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can have a prompt of every fresh episode and also have access to all other previous episodes that we've uploaded on that same channel. So till some other time, keep innovating, keep leveraging on technology, and keep achieving more. I am Shoyi from Yola today. See you next episode. Bye for now.